Somewhere right now, two old men are watching football on television. They don't say much during the match. They used to be the match. There will come a night you won't know it's happening. No one ever does. When the last person who played alongside either of them finally hangs up their boots. No headline will mark it. No montage. The game will just quietly stop belonging to their generation and start belonging to people who only know them from footage. That's how it ends. Not with a final whistle, with silence spread out over years, until nobody notices it anymore. Right now, somewhere, a boy in a concrete yard is doing something with a ball he thinks he invented. He didn't. But no one's going to tell him that. Why would they? It's kinder to let him believe it's his. There was a time when two men carried this entire sport on their backs for almost 20 years. Different countries, different tongues, same unbearable brilliance, and made the whole world hold its breath on the same Sunday, for the same impossible reason. That kind of thing isn't supposed to happen once. It's not supposed to happen at all, and it will not happen again. This isn't a story about who was better. It's a story about two men getting older, watching boys do what they can no longer do, missing themselves quietly, in rooms no cameras are pointed at, and a sport that will never, in anyone's lifetime, feel that full again. Bodies remember everything, even when the world stops asking them to perform. Picture one of them at 70, still rising early, still disciplined, still moving through a morning routine built for a body that no longer needs saving. The habit outlives the reason for it. That's what discipline becomes eventually. Not ambition, just muscle memory with nowhere left to go. Picture the other, older too, softer in his mornings, never as loud about his maintenance, never needing to be. He always let the work speak instead of the mirror. Now, there's no work left to speak for him. Just a quiet man in a quiet house, carrying a body that used to bend physics on a Tuesday night in Manchester, in Barcelona, in front of 80,000 people who forgot to blink. Neither of them talks about it much. What is there to say? You don't announce the day your knees stop letting you turn the way they used to. You just stop turning that way, and you notice, and you say nothing, because saying something makes it real. There is a particular kind of grief reserved only for men whose bodies were once extraordinary. Not injury, not illness, just time, doing to them exactly what it does to everyone else. Except everyone else didn't have 80,000 people watching them be perfect first. They will wake up some mornings and forget, for just a second, that they can't do it anymore. The body starts the motion before the mind catches up, and then it stops. And they remember, every single day, a small, private correction. This is what's left of it. This is what 40 years does to two men the world once thought were built differently from the rest of us. They weren't. They were only ever borrowing it. The argument doesn't die. It just stops being about them. For years it was alive, urgent, personal. Men shouting across bars, across group chats, across dinner tables that had nothing to do with football until someone said one name and the whole room turned into a courtroom. It mattered because they were still out there, still adding to the case, still capable of settling it themselves with one more night like the ones that started it. Now the two men at the center of it haven't kicked a ball competitively in decades. And still, somewhere, someone is having that argument right now, except they never saw either man play. They've only got clips. 12-second highlights, replayed so many times the grass looks unreal. The crowd noise flattened into something that sounds like memory pretending to be evidence. That's the quiet tragedy of it. The debate outlives the feeling that built it. It calcifies into trivia, dates, numbers, awards, recited by people trying to feel something that was never theirs to feel in the first place. They're not wrong to care. They just showed up after the room went cold. Somewhere, a father tries to explain it to his son and finds that he can't. Not really. He can describe the goals. He can't describe the Sunday. He can't describe what it felt like when the whole country synced up around one moment. Because his son has never lived in a world where football did that. The debate survives them. It just stops being able to explain them. People will keep waiting for the next one. They'll be waiting a long time. Every few years, someone new arrives. Brilliant, ferocious, undeniable. And for a moment, the old question gets asked again. Is this him? Is this the one who finally brings it back? And for a moment, it's almost believable. Because talent like that doesn't come along often. And when it does, it's tempting to reach for the only language big enough to describe it. But it never quite lands the same way. Because it was never only about talent. It was about two of them, at the same time, in the same era, pulling every ounce of brilliance out of each other for the better part of 20 years. One, relentless, precise, almost mechanical in his hunger. The other loose, instinctive, playing a version of the sport that looked like it hadn't been invented yet. Different countries, different clubs. Same unbearable standard, night after night, season after season. Neither one ever letting the other rest. That isn't a formula. It's a coincidence the sport got lucky enough to live through once. Two men, healthy at the same time, dominant at the same time, for almost 2 decades. The odds of that happening again aren't small. They're closer to zero. So people will keep comparing. They'll keep hoping. And somewhere quietly, without ever announcing it, football will keep gently disappointing them. Not because no one is good enough anymore, but because greatness alone was never the whole story. It needed two of them. It only ever got two of them once. There's a particular kind of silence reserved for a man who used to be the best in the world, standing on a touchline, watching someone else attempt the thing he invented. Picture one of them now, whistle around his neck, arms folded, watching a 19-year-old try to replicate a movement that used to look effortless when he did it. The kid gets it wrong, overcommits, loses the ball. And the coach, who used to be untouchable, has to walk over, calmly, and explain, with words, because his body won't do it for him anymore, exactly how it's supposed to feel. He'll tell the boy how to do something his own body no longer remembers how to do. That's the particular cruelty of it. Not that he can't play anymore. Everyone stops eventually. That part is almost bearable. It's that he now spends his days surrounded by the exact shape of what he used to be, in someone else's legs, someone else's body, someone who has no idea what it costs to make it look that easy. Picture the other one, somewhere else, doing the same thing in his own quiet way. Less shouting, more watching, correcting with a gesture instead of a lecture, because that was always his language anyway. He sees a flash of himself in a kid's first touch, in the way someone drops a shoulder before a defender even moves, and for half a second, something in him lifts. Then the kid does something ordinary, and the moment passes, and he's just a man on a touchline again, older than he ever imagined being, coaching a game he can no longer play. Neither of them says it out loud, but it's there, every session, the specific grief of teaching a gift you've physically outlived. Here is the part no one wants to hear, because it isn't dramatic. It doesn't arrive like an injury or a retirement announcement. It arrives like weather, slow, cumulative, undeniable only in hindsight. Football didn't collapse after them. It didn't get worse. That was never the fear worth having. What happened instead was quieter, and in some ways harder to explain to anyone who wasn't there for it. The sport got a little less certain of itself, a little less loud on ordinary Tuesdays. The stakes didn't disappear. They just stopped feeling inevitable the way they used to. Back when you knew, almost every week, that something impossible might happen because two specific men were on the pitch. New brilliance keeps arriving, the way it always does. The sport isn't short on talent, and it never will be. but brilliance without that particular tension. Two of them, evenly matched, permanently chasing each other. Feels different. Isolated. A single flame instead of two fires feeding off each other for 20 years. This is the part that's hard to sit with. Football will be fine. It will go on. It will crown new heroes. It will fill stadiums. It will make new children fall in love with it exactly the way it made you fall in love with it once. That's not the tragedy. The tragedy is smaller and quieter than that. It's the version of the sport that existed only when both of them were still playing, still healthy, still pushing each other past what either one could reach alone. And that version isn't coming back. Not diminished, not replaced. Gone, the way a specific afternoon is gone. The way a particular kind of light only happens once, at a certain hour, and then never quite the same way again. Football will never be the same again. Not because it got worse, because it can't be that specific, particular, impossible thing it was, ever again. One of them is standing on a touchline at dusk. Training's almost over. A young player receives the ball, drops a shoulder, slips past a defender in one clean motion, and doesn't even celebrate. Just moves on, like it was nothing, like it's the easiest thing in the world. For a second, the old man doesn't move. He knows exactly what that felt like. He remembers it in his hips, in his knees, in a place words don't reach anymore. He's not angry. He's not jealous. He's just standing very still, somewhere between pride and grief, watching a shape he used to make in front of 80,000 people, now made in front of nobody. By somebody who doesn't yet understand what he's holding. He doesn't clap. He just watches, the way you watch something you'll never get back. Quietly, completely, without needing anyone to see that he's watching at all. The whistle blows. Training ends. The players walk off, laughing about something small. He stays a moment longer, alone on the touchline, the pitch emptying out in front of him the same way it always eventually does. Then the screen goes to black. Football will never be the same again.